we go. Happy Thursday, Bears fans. My name is Harrison Graham. It is Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports. We're back, hopefully better than ever, here live on YouTube. We'll get to Michael Horowitz in a second because he's an absolute legend. But first, shout out your city. We got producer Jack Lotteray riding shotgun once again. And I think we've settled on, for those wondering, Monday as Roley's farewell live show here on Bears Now. Doesn't mean you'll never see him again. Doesn't mean there isn't a scenario where he could produce again, but he will shift into his full-time on-air duties after that. He's got other stuff going on today, but Monday will be Roley's Bears Now live farewell, so be on the lookout for that. We got Travis in Virginia, Wasim in Irvine, Jacob in Henning, Illinois, Omar in Manhattan, Joseph in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Ryan in Tampa, Dante in Grand Rapids. We got Jeff in San Antonio, OG Jack from Travis in the chat. What's up, Travis? Boomtown, Missouri from Matt Nagy, Paul Harris in Phoenix. All right, we got to go to Michael Horowitz. Boom! He says all Bear fans should be excited for this season. Damn straight, Michael. I already got you a new helmet sticker right there as we continue to fill out the Bears Now Helmet Hall of Fame, the second edition. He also followed it up with a 50. What a beast. He said, I also believe that Caleb will have double-digit interceptions. Don't think he'll immediately become a Messiah. I could see that, and quite frankly, I'm okay if he has double-digit because that means the Bears are letting him throw. The Bears are not trying to hide him in his rookie year. They need him to grow, learn, and develop on the fly. So I'm cool with that. I hope he doesn't throw 20 picks, but if he throws 10 to 15, that's perfectly fine in his rookie season. Who is the Bears' best player right now? I was kind of thinking about this, and it just made me think, who's the Bears' best player right now? Is it DJ Moore? Is it Montez Sweat? Is it Keenan Allen? I don't think you could say Caleb Williams. We're hoping he becomes that. That's the goal when you have a franchise quarterback. Jalen Johnson? That's what Johnny says. Tory Taylor? That's funny. Caleb's is Jalen Johnson. I would say it's one of those four. Jalen Johnson, DJ Moore, Montez Sweat, or Keenan Allen. Mike says Jalen Johnson, so does Mason and Javon. Russell says DJ. Matt says DJ on offense. Montez on defense. Trump says DJ. Let's see. Jalen Johnson for Travis. Cairo Santos. It's a sneaky, interesting one. Darnell Wright in 1 year. Could be. I could see him being an all-pro tackle in a year or two. Let's see. DJ Moore from Ryan. Malcolm says DJ. Can't do DJ yet. No Pro Bowl. That's not his fault. He should have been a Pro Bowler last year. Wasim says DJ. Brett Rippin from Jaden. Jalen Johnson from Noah. It's good stuff. Yeah, I think it's one of those four. Michael again with the 50. He says exactly, Harrison. All rookies have growing pains. All rookies have growing pains. I think they have a bunch of best players. Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 guys. 4 or 5 guys that you could choose from in that discussion. Logan Bell with a 5. Just got the Caleb jersey. Can't wait for a playoff spot for the Bears. The Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears. Shout out to you, Logan Bell. Appreciate that. Okay, before we get to our next question here, thought we'd bring this back today, and Michael Horowitz off to a big start. He did not know this was a thing, but it's like he read our minds. Today's Super Chat MVP gets to choose a Bears topic of choice for a video next week. We knocked out Jealousy's video yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? Can't remember. I think it was Tuesday. The Caleb Williams, what does he need to do? I kind of took it from a short and a long-term standpoint to justify drafting him number 1 and not trading down for a haul. Go check that out if you haven't already. But whoever donates the most today, you will get to choose what we talk about on a video. It is up to you. Or Michael, if you want to, if you're the MVP and you want someone else to choose, you can choose someone in the chat and let them choose. So we'll do that. Super Chat MVP. It's got to be a Bears topic. Got to be something that's worth talking about on a Chicago Bears YouTube channel. So keep that in mind. All right, recent betting odds have Caleb Williams at 3,400 passing yards as the over-under this year. What do you guys think? O for over, U for under? I think it's over, and it wouldn't shock me if it was over easily. If he plays all 17 games, that's right at 200 yards a game. I just think with the amount of weaponry the Bears have, even if he struggles at times, which he probably will, he's a rookie, he's still going to put up numbers. I don't think 4,000 yards is out of the question. I'm not expecting 4,000, but I don't think it's out of the question. O for over, U for under. Christian says under. Different Christian says smashing the over. Scuba says over. When do you go into the 305, Harrison? I don't know, man. Do not know. Do not know. Oh, are you talking about my Miami trip? Yeah, I'm going to Miami here in a few weeks. Later this month. Couple weeks. Going to the 305. Rolly's jealous. NFL production says over. Aaron Wolf says 3870, so that's over. Jamie says over. Travis says I'm scared to get hyped. I mean, even if he had, he could have an average year and hit 3,400 yards. Because he's just going to throw more than Justin did. And he's not going to run for 1,100 like Justin did a couple years ago. Don Burr, you know you're scared. You know you're scared, Don Burr. You are shaken. Mike says over 4,000. That'd be sick. Caleb says over. Let's go, baby. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Don Bum is scared of Caleb. Corey says over. Wasim says over. Let's go. I can't wait. I wish the season was starting soon. I really do. All right, if you love the Bears, like this video. Hit that like button. We have over 200 people watching. We need more likes. Got to get to at least 75 likes before we get into our first segment. Let's go. Let's go. Doug says over. Don Burr is nervous because he knows the Lions may have missed their chance last year. I did like their draft. I hate to say it. I do think they're probably the team to beat going into the year in the division, but the Bears matched up well with them last year. Like Monster Jack. That's right. It's usually like Master Rolly. Today it's like Master Jack. Let's go. Malcolm saying over. Need 20 more likes. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Yeah, I'm just going to sip my water. Sweat is Goff's father. Oh, I can't wait for Montez Sweat to crack Jared Goff this year. 69 likes. Nice. Not nice enough. Don is salty. They pulled a Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, in Detroit's defense, at least they got there. Somewhere Dallas hasn't gotten in about 30 years. Sewell is Sweat's daddy. I thought Sweat actually did a pretty good job going up against him, to be completely honest. All right, here we go. We hit over 75 likes. Here's what's coming up live here on the channel. The latest Bears news and rumors, including some stuff on Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. We'll take your questions, so if you have any, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. We haven't done a mailbag since the draft, so if you have any questions about post-draft, free agency, trades, training camp, whatever, fire away. Use the hashtag Bears function or Super Chat. We need plenty more questions to come in there. We'll get to my way too early Bears 53-man roster projection. Free agency mostly done. Draft is in the books. So what could the 53 look like? And then also an early Bears 2025 mock draft. You guys asked for it. We're going to fire it away here on today's show. Busy stuff. Get your questions in. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. And let's dive into Chicago Bears now. Is Caleb Williams already in Shane Waldron's playbook, and has he been going back to before the NFL draft? Ryan Poles hopped on Pat McAfee Show and talked about Rome Odunze and why they ultimately took him with the number 9 pick. And Tory Taylor has a chance to be a big weapon for the Chicago Bears. All that and more is coming up on Chicago Bears Now, including a stadium update. My name is Harrison Graham. This is why you subscribe. Don't miss out. We cover the Bears daily for free here on this channel. So hit that sub button, turn on notifications. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Is Caleb Williams off to a head start as a rookie quarterback? His quarterback coach, Will Hewlett, hopped on 670 The Score and said the Bears sent them some play concepts well before the draft, basically once they determined that he was going to be their guy. Certainly gives him a head start on things, right? He didn't say they gave him the straight-up playbook, but some terminology, some conceptual things. And look, I think that the last bullet point here, it really just does show how committed they were to drafting him and how he became their guy by some point in the month of March or at least early April. I think that's pretty clear at this point in time. 670 The Score kind of tweeted out a paraphrase from what Hewlett said. He said that they have pieces of the Bears' plays, Shane Waldron's terminology, and the basic route concepts in terms of depth and timing of the Bears as he's been training with Caleb Williams for the past 6 weeks. This gets me fired up, man, because sometimes, and look, and this will still probably be the case, but like there's going to be growing pains with any new quarterback, much less a rookie coming from college. But if you can skip just the early steps of like, oh, okay, I know on this play, this concept, you know, the guy's going to run a 7-yard slant or a 9-yard curl, or he's going to run a double move on the outside. Like if you just kind of understand what some of the concepts are, the route combinations, that kind of helps, you know, cheat maybe a day or two of practice early on in the process, kind of get past that. So that's definitely a good thing, and hopefully that helps him hit the ground running. I mean, they're not wasting time here. The Bears aren't, and Caleb isn't. He's already getting a head start on what Waldron wants to do with his passing game concepts, and he's already thrown to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze dating back to before the draft. So that helps. That gets you at least somewhat of a head start when it comes to coming in here, hit the ground running, and starting to take control of this offense. Does that mean there's not going to be growing pains? Of course not. Does that mean that from day dot he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL or anything like that? We don't know. I still expect there to be some level of growing pain, but if this helps ease the transition a little bit, I think that's a smart move by the Bears, and it's exciting to think about. Now, Vegas has the Bears betting odds at 3,400 passing yards for Caleb Williams, over under 3,400 yards. So what do you guys think? You think he hits that? Type O for over, he'll get 3,400 or more, or type U for under. Here's to see what you guys think, because I personally am hammering the over here. Like, to be frank, if he plays 17 games and doesn't hit 3,400, I'd be pretty disappointed. And I know people might say, well, Justin Fields never threw for 2,600. That would still be 700-800 more. Well, yeah, but he's not going to run like Justin. This offense is also in a better position. Like, I get he's a rookie, but like thinking he'll throw for 3,600 yards, that's not some crazy number. Like, I think he can hit that, and quite frankly should hit that if he does play in all 17 games. 3,400 yards is exactly 200 passing yards per game. This Bears offense needs to be throwing for more than 200 yards per game. We did this exercise the other day on our Caleb Williams video, kind of short and long-term expectations. This was the 16th ranked quarterback this year. If you took the number 16 statistics in all 5 of these categories among qualified quarterbacks, aka guys who started X amount of games, talking just under 65%, over 3,600 yards, 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, QBR 56.5, which is out of 100, and then passer rating 92.2, which is out of 158.3. I expect 3,500 plus. Like, he needs to throw for 3,500 plus. And by the way, if he does, that doesn't even mean he had some superstar year. I'm not asking that. If he hit those numbers in that range, my expectations for Caleb Williams as a rookie is to be a top half of the NFL quarterback. He's got enough weapons to do it. He's got enough talent to do it. I think this coaching staff offensively is a talented group as well. I'm not saying go be a top 5, top 10 guy. Go be the 15th best quarterback in the NFL. If you do that, that's a great start to a career. That's much better quarterback play than the Bears are used to. And quite frankly, that all but guarantees this will be a playoff team, considering that they were fairly close last year, and they did not have that level of quarterback play. So I think 3,400 is too low. I think he'll hit the over on that, and I'm excited to see it happen. It was always Rome Odunze. Ryan Poles hopped on Pat McAfee Show, talked about a variety of things, including his kind of thought process and decision-making when the Bears got on the clock at number 9 and Odunze was still available. Here's what Poles had to say. He said, there's certain guys you don't pass up on, and Rome is one of them. It's hard to find a guy that's big, that big and that talented at the receiver spot. And on top of that, he's an unbelievable human being as well. There was no moving off of Rome. You know, he said, yeah, we got some calls, but that's just not a guy you pass up on. And it's just refreshing and it's nice to not have a GM who could overthink a scenario like that. Like, I feel like in the past, the Bears might try to be cute and be like, oh, let's trade back and maybe we'll still get him at 11 and we'll pick up like a 4th-round pick or something like that. Like, just do the obvious thing. This guy was a top 5 or 6 player in this draft. You need another receiver, and he's sitting there. Just take the fucking guy. And that's what they did. It's nice. It's refreshing. It makes me feel good about the future in terms of the decision-making officials of this franchise, which Ryan Poles is the general of putting this roster together. Rome Odunze is a player that has gotten better every year. He is 6'3", 210 pounds. He is a good athlete. He does track the ball well. He's better than probably any other receiver in this draft was, including Marvin Harrison Jr., when it comes to contested catches. And oh, by the way, he doesn't have to be a number 1 or even a number 2 right away. You got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, 2 guys he can really learn from, and you can ease him in a little bit. Now, I think you need to expect him to produce as a rookie, but if he goes to, say, I don't know, a team like Arizona where Marvin Harrison Jr. is, they're thinking, hey, we need 1,100 yards out of you. Here, hey, go get us 500 to 800 yards, be a good number 3, and then you'll grow into a bigger role in year 2. If you give us more than that, awesome. This wide receiver trio, by the way, I think is the best on paper in the NFL. We got to see it come to fruition, but Moore and Allen were 2 top 11 receivers last year in terms of receiving yards, and Rome Odunze was the top 3 receiver in this draft, no doubt about it, and he's got a potential to be a year in, year out 1,000-yard guy, just like the other 2 guys you already have. So this kid's going to be a beast. He doesn't have to be a beast early, which is nice, but it wouldn't shock me if he was. The guy has great work ethic, great character. He's going to put in the hours necessary to chase this greatness, and he's got a fellow rookie in Caleb Williams that they can push each other to go chase this greatness in Chicago. If you're excited for Rome Odunze, can I get a Rome in the comment section? Get the Romes going. Can't wait to hear that chant at Soldier Field. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And if you want to get a Rome Odunze jersey, you can do so at chatsports.com/Rome. That link is in the comments and in the description of this video. Chatsports.com/Rome. Pick up a Rome Odunze jersey today and represent the new rookie receiver. Okay, let's talk special teams. Ryan Poles explained the Tory Taylor draft pick in an interesting way when he hopped on McAfee's show as well. That word uncomfortable was something that he used. And Pat McAfee, who was an NFL punter himself, said, hey, man, what was your thought process taking a punter in the 4th round? He said, to make anyone worth playing uncomfortable. I didn't play much in the NFL, but I knew running onto the field and having the ball spotted inside the 10-yard line is a very uncomfortable feeling. It's disheartening at times, and I love taking advantage of field position. Trenton Gill, of course, was waived on Wednesday after they drafted Tory Taylor. Wednesday, Tuesday, I can't remember when it became official. But the point is that Ryan Poles values special teams. He paid Cairo Santos. And look, advanced statistics show that field position plays a massive factor in terms of scoring. If you pin teams inside their 20, their chances of scoring dwindle. If they're in the plus 30, they go up exponentially. It doesn't take a genius to know why. The closer you are to field goal range or the end zone, the better chance you have to score. And this guy can boom it, but I think his superpower is his ability to coffin corner punt, pin guys inside the 20. 34.4% of his punts at Iowa last year were inside the 20. And it's not like Iowa was punting at midfield all the time either. So he was launching them. He was pinning them back. 32 of his 93 total punts were inside the 20. He averaged 48 yards per punt as well. This is going to be a huge upgrade over Trenton Gill. And again, it's nothing against Trenton Gill. Vibes guy, got along well in the locker room, it seemed, but he's basically the worst punter in the league last year. That's what the numbers show. And I think this guy steps in right away in his top 10, if not top 5. Obviously, I think to justify the pick long term, you need him to be a top 5 punter, a true weapon here to spend, the 122nd pick on him. But the Bears seem confident that's the case. Like Ryan Poles said, make teams uncomfortable with how good this defense could be this year. You got teams starting inside their 20, inside their 10 fairly consistently. That's it's going to be hard to score on this Bears defense. All right, let's get to a stadium update here. It's actually a somewhat notable update. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the Bears stadium proposal that came out last Wednesday, I believe, is a, quote, non-starter. Courtney Cronin has the tweet here with the news dropping that the Bears' proposal to fund a new lakefront stadium was called a, quote, non-starter by Governor J.B. Pritzker's office, who met with Bears team officials on Wednesday. By the way, Arlington Heights Mayor Tom Hayes released a statement just a little bit ago saying, we thought the lakefront proposal would be a tough sell to the state, yada, yada, yada. We are open to resuming negotiations with the Bears. So Arlington Heights still trying to dip their toes in the water, if you will. Here's kind of my new stance on the stadium. Yes, when there's updates, we'll talk about it. But I'm kind of done giving strong opinions on it. We've talked about it ad nauseum for over a year at this point, 2 years. There's pros and cons to staying in the city versus going to the suburbs. So I'm not really going to give a strong opinion on what I want at this point. Like, this sounds harsh. I don't care that much at this point. Like, I don't care where they play. I think there's a lot of reason to want them to stay in Chicago, but there's a lot of reason to go out to the suburbs for financially, especially, which we've discussed. So, look, at this point, and I don't know if you guys agree with me in the chat. Let me know if you do. I'll just believe it when I see it starting. Like, when a shovel hits the dirt, I'll be like, all right, man, it's actually happening. Or when, ink hits paper and some kind of deal gets agreed to and they can start the project, we'll talk about it more. And, look, when there's updates like this, yes, it's my job to talk about them. But it's kind of one of those things where it's going to be one of these back and forth political games between the Bears and the city and the state and what other officials are involved. And when it happens, it happens. It's kind of exhausting at this point, if I'm being completely honest. Where do you guys think the Bears will play long term? Will it be in Chicago? Type Y for yes. If you don't, if you think it'll be in the suburbs, Arlington Heights or somewhere else, type in for no. Will the Bears be in Chicago long term? Y for yes, or you can type in for no. All right, there you have it. The latest Bears news and rumors coming at you live here on Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. More to come here on the channel. Wasim says no. Ryan says no. Toilet Boy Pritzker hates fun. I don't know enough about him, to be honest. Savage says yes. Aaron says no. Eduardo says no. Yeah, look, I'm kind of just... I'm not saying I don't care at all, but I'm kind of just... What just happened? Foxtrot says no. Ogden says yes. It's just kind of exhausting at this point. When it happens, it happens. Yep. Cataball says no. William, yeah, I've kind of said that, William. I think it'd be cool if you could stay on the lakefront. I mean, historically, it'd be cool to stay in Chicago, but if the Bears want to maximize dollars, they'd go out to Arlington Heights. Move them to McAllen, Texas. Don't think that's happening. Build a floating stadium on Lake Michigan. That would be electric. That would be electric. All right, enough stadium talk. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions answered on the show. Use the hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions in. Producer Jack's telling me we need a lot more questions. A lot more questions. And a reminder that today's Super Chat MVP, which right now belongs to Michael Horowitz, $200, the number to beat, gets to choose a Bears topic of his or her choice that I will do in a video next week. So if you want to say, hey, how can Caleb Williams win Rookie of the Year? I could do that as a segment. If you have another idea, throw them at me. We'll talk about it in a video here on Chicago Bears Now. So hashtag Bears or Super Chat. James, it's a good question. If you throw hashtag Bears in there, I'll answer it. James Kinsella, hashtag Bears, I'll answer it. We'll get him in there. We got enough to get started here, Jack? Yeah. All right, here we go. Get some more in. Hashtag Bears, Super Chat. Let's talk your questions, my answers here on a Bears Now mailbag. Bears Now. Restart here. Bears Now mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Johnny Bland kicks us off. He says, would you trade a 2025 second-round pick for Trey Hendrickson? Maybe. If it was the Bears, I don't think I would want to trade that Carolina pick. We talked before the draft when Trey Hendrickson requested a trade that, hey, could you flip 75? Would that be enough to get the Cincinnati Bengals edge rusher who did request a trade? He is going to be 30 later this year, I think, but damn, he's still good. I mean, 3 of the last 4 years, 13 and a half sacks or more. He's been absolutely fantastic in a down year, quote unquote, still at 8. Back in 2022, arguably the best year of his career last year was 17 and a half. It's fun to think about him opposite of Montez Sweat. Now, if you trade for him, you probably got to commit to some sort of an extension. Are you throwing, $25 million per year for another edge rusher? That might be what it takes. I don't know. That'd be a question for Ryan Poles, but man, he's a stud. And you add him to this defensive line, you pretty much have no weaknesses on that defense. I mean, even if Gervon Dexter's just average at 3-tech, like you're so dominant on the edge, he's going to win a decent amount as well. Would you trade a 2025 second-round pick for Trey Hendrickson? What say you? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. Curious what you guys think down in the comments section. Super chat here from Jack. Appreciate the 5. Just wondering, what's the content outlook that will be now that the draft is over? Well, first of all, subscribe to the channel. We'll still plug out daily videos. Look, you got rookie minicamp next week, so we'll cover that. Anything football related we'll cover. Schedule release is supposed to be next week. That's not official, but it sounds like it will be. You got rookie minicamp coming up next week, into next week as well, all the OTAs. And, news, rumors that continue to fly around if the Bears sign any players. We'll come up with some segments as well. It's our 4th year doing this, 5th year doing this almost, so this isn't anything new for us. But, yeah, this is kind of the creative time of the year. So your guys' input, segment ideas, we love that stuff. Throw them our way, and sometimes we'll be able to do it for you guys. Bears goated, hashtag Bears. If the Bears are cooking at the deadline and the Raiders are struggling, what would it realistically take to trade for Max Crosby? I mean, do you give him your first and one of your seconds? That's probably what you're looking at. I mean, the guy's a superstar. Your first, maybe your first and your own second. You keep the Carolina second. Does that get it done? Maybe. It's a big price to pay, but Crosby might be worth it. Like, if you feel like at the deadline you're a big-time pass rusher away from being a dangerous, deep playoff team, then I could see the Bears doing that. That's why that extra second-round pick is so valuable. We've seen Ryan Poles make trades the last 2 deadlines when they haven't been great. Now that they could be a good team, imagine what he'd be willing to do for the right player. Edward, when do you think they will drop the schedule? The rumor is, and depending on when you're watching this, the NFL may have already announced when they're going to drop it. The rumor is May 9th. So that's a week from Thursday if you're watching on the 2nd live. It usually is on a Thursday, so I think it'll either be the 9th or the 16th. But the chatter has been the 9th. And last year, I actually looked this up. They didn't announce that they were releasing the schedule until 3 days before. So, they could announce on Monday the 6th, hey, we're dropping the schedule Thursday the 9th. So, be on the lookout this weekend. If we don't hear anything by Monday, then maybe it's the following week. Gage Molinari, who do you think will have the most receiving yards for the Bears? I've really been thinking about this. You would think DJ Moore, and that's still probably the betting favorite if if that was a betting thing available, which some books might be. But I think it would not shock me if it was Keenan Allen. Just a guy who consistently gets those clean releases and gets open, but he also is a little more injury prone. So I would still say DJ, but it wouldn't shock me if it was Keenan Allen. It'll be one of those two. I don't think Rome Odunze as a rookie will do it. If he does, wow, this team is going to be special. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. You can check out more or less season-long projections there for Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and others. Some of those are out, including one we'll get to in a second. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, NFL season-long stat projections, they're all available. And that's how it goes. Pick more, pick less on the stats that are being thrown at you. So we got DeAndre Swift more than 850.5 rushing yards. I think he's going to really have a good year, especially if this passing attack gets going. It's going to be lighter boxes. He should have high yards per carry, which should help. I'm going to go more on Amon-Ra St. Brown, touchdown receptions. He's a good player. I think he hits at least 8. More on that as well. So 10 to win 30, simple 2-player entry where you win 3 times your entry. I put $10 on that so I could win 30. You can win up to 100 times your entry on certain plays right now with Prize Picks. Get started today at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get that first deposit match up to $100. 3 million active users on the daily with Prize Picks. You should be one of them. Play, pick more, pick less. Prize Picks, prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, James Kinsella, if the Bears miss the playoffs, did Eberflus get fired? I don't think so that simply. Now, I don't know if the defense took a major step back and if he seemed to lose control of the team. Yes, like he could, but like if the Bears are 8-9 or something or 9-8 and they barely miss the playoffs, I don't think he's getting fired. You don't want to do what you've done in the past where you draft a quarterback and then year 2, he's got a new head coach. You've done that multiple times. You did it with Trubisky. You did it with Justin Fields. So if you weren't going to change head coaches this offseason, I think you almost have to give this thing at least 2 years, unless it's just a disaster and you don't have a choice. Like this team goes 5-12 and it's a mess. Yeah, you may have to scrap the coaching staff and start over. But I'd be pretty surprised. Like I'm not saying I'd be shocked if they missed the playoffs, but I would be pretty surprised if this team won less than like 7 or 8 games. I mean, you won 7 last year and you could have won 10. So I don't see that being the case here. Braden, do you think DeAndre Swift is the Bears running back 5 years from now? No, not 5. I mean, he's already, 4 years into his career? He will not be here 5 years from now. Signed a 3-year deal. He'll be here at least 2 years, probably 3. I'd be surprised if he got another contract here. That's just the way it goes for running backs. So, use them a lot the next couple of years, and by then you'll probably have a different running back. Poppy Chulo Sits, $2 super chat. He says, extend, trade, or let Keenan Allen walk. I mean, I don't think you'll trade him because he's on the last year of his deal. You're not going to move him at the deadline. So it's either extend or, extend, play the year out, then make a decision, or just play him 1 year and let him walk. I think they're all okay options. If you extend them, cool. You got a really good player for more years. I think that will come down to money. And with Odunze here, you got some insurance. You don't have to extend Keenan Allen. 2, if you play this year out, see how he plays. Does he stay healthy? See what his price tag is before making a decision. Or 3, if you just flat out let him walk, you can play the comp pick formula game. The Bears have been on the wrong side of that the last couple of years as they've been rebuilding their roster. But moving forward, as their roster's in a better spot, they'll probably be signing less guys than they lose at times in free agency. So you could let him walk and get a 3rd or 4th back in terms of draft compensation. You traded a 4th for him, you might come out ahead there. So I think the Bears are in a good spot here. I would probably play this year out unless Allen signs a fairly team-friendly deal before the season and see what happens. Make a decision after the year. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 93,000 subscribers here on the channel. If you want daily Bears videos for free, look how close we are. You guys are bringing the heat. Appreciate it. Less than 400 subs away from 93K. Would love to get there before rookie minicamp next week. Help us get there. Daily coverage for free. Wasim. Appreciate the 10, brother. He says, do you think the Bears will sign another edge rusher before the season? Do you think the Bears will set team offensive records? They're not that high. Will Johnny Majors' receiving record be broken? You're talking about Johnny Morris. One at a time here. I do think they'll sign a pass rusher. I don't know who it'll be. It might just be bringing back Yannick Ngakoue, who posted a video of him training, by the way. Looked pretty healthy to me. Calais Campbell, he'd be my top guy. A couple other names out there like Carl Lawson as an option. I don't know if they'll set records as a team. in Caleb's rookie year, but it wouldn't shock me if they did. To your point, this has not been an offensive juggernaut in this franchise's history. And, yeah, I think Rome Odunze's got a good shot of topping Johnny Morris in his time here, and DJ Moore might as well. Keenan Allen probably won't. I don't think he's reaching 5,000-plus yards as a Bear. He'd probably have to play here 5 years, and that would surprise me. He's already going to be 32 this year. Kayla Pilafas, could Swift be a Pro Bowler, or is his ceiling not high enough? I think he could. I think he's in a great situation, especially if he catches a lot of passes out of the backfield, which his career high is 62 catches. Like, I don't know, go rush for 1,000 yards, catch for 400, probably get you into the Pro Bowl. I think it's possible. DeAndre Swift is a dynamic player who's playing in an offense with a lot of talent around him. He's going to have opportunities. Christian, is there anything at all that concerns you with Caleb? I mean, look, like, there's still things he's never done before. Like, I was listening to someone talk about this on the radio the other day. Like, he's got to take the play in his helmet, which he's never done before, and convey the play to teammates in the huddle. Like, he didn't huddle up much in college. He's got to do under center snaps more than ever before. Like, there's still things, like little things he's going to have to do that he hasn't done. I'm not concerned about his makeup. There was a lot of that, and I don't mean like literal makeup. I mean like his mental makeup. Like, I think he's got all that in check. He wants to be great. He wants to win. I'm not concerned about that at all. You know, there's always a tiny bit of concern with any rookie quarterback because rookie quarterbacks fail all the time. But I think the Bears have done a good job of insulating him with talent. They've added a lot here. He's in a very good situation to be successful. So I'm cautiously optimistic that this is going to end up working. This is an interesting question. Who is the Bears' best player right now? If you had to say today, whenever you're watching this in the month of May, who's their best player right now? I would say it's one of four guys. I would say it's either Jalen Johnson, Montez Sweat, Keenan Allen, or DJ Moore. I think it's one of those. Now, Allen hasn't played here yet, and he's a little older. So, is it DJ, Jalen Johnson? We want it to be Caleb Williams. That's the goal, because if he's your best player, then you got a chance to win Super Bowls. But right now, you can't say that. I think it's one of those four. You guys let me know who you think their best player is. Aaron Wolf, someone beating Curtis Conway's record. We're crossing them, baby. We're crossing them. One can hope, Aaron. One can hope. Be optimistic. There's nothing wrong with that. Jason M., is there anybody out there worth trading for before training camp to bring in? I mean, we talked about Trey Hendrickson. That would be a fun one if he really wanted out of Cincinnati. But what does it cost? How much are you going to have to pay him? That's all stuff that has to factor in. Is there like a smaller trade out there, like a middle round pick or a later pick for like a rotation pass rusher? Coming out with a name on the top of my head is tough. I'm not sure. But, you know, there's always moves that happen, especially once you get into training camp closer to the season. So we'll continue to monitor that. Jinx, where would you currently rank the Bears defense in the NFC? NFC, I mean, just pulling up the standings real quick. I mean, off the top of my head, I would say the Niners probably should get the early nod over Chicago. No one else in the North is better. San Francisco, I think the Bears' defense is better than the Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals. Tampa, maybe. It's a pretty good defense. Atlanta, decent. But I would put the Bears right there. Dallas and Philadelphia are talented, but I think the Bears are right there. I think it's for sure a top 5 NFC defense. And the only one I would take for sure over the Bears right now is San Francisco. You could say the Bears have the second best defense in the NFC and potentially a top 5 unit in the NFL. Safely, you'd say top 5 in the NFC, top 10 in the NFL. But that's like if they don't take another step forward, which there's reason to believe that they will. Appreciate all of the questions here on Chicago Bears Now. If we didn't get you answered, hit me up on IG at HGramNFL. We are over there, always willing to answer at HGramNFL if you have any more questions. And we'll get to second. What do you guys think, though? Bears' best player right now? A lot of Jalen Johnsons, a lot of Roberts. We'll hit a couple more super chats that came in that weren't necessarily Bear-centric. Like we'll get Wasim here in a second. A lot of Jalen Johnson. Seems like that's the leading vote. Christian says JJ or Keenan. Augustine says DJ. Wasim says DJ Moore. I would probably give DJ or Jalen the edge because they were here all of last year and were great all season. But Sweat changed the defense when he came in, and I think Keenan Allen could help this offense take off too. So Aaron's already saying Caleb Williams. That's true, man. That's big time because you already got 4 very, very high-level players and several other good ones. I mean, DJ Edwards, very good player. Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, Tremaine Edmonds, Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, all very good players. I think Rome Odunze you can already call a good player. Like, this roster, I mean, what Poles has done to turn this thing around in 2 years has been very, very impressive. Wasim, Mavs or Clippers? Oh, the Mavs are – it's time to send the Clippers to Cabo. Or as Charles Barkley said the other night, Galveston. It's time. We Bears, who is more likely to have a breakout season? Are you asking specific players or like one versus the other? I would say – okay. And I'll do a breakout candidates video. I think one guy that really stands – and to me, rookies are ineligible for this because you can't be eligible for a breakout if you haven't played in the NFL yet. I would say one guy that really stands out to me is Tyreek Stevenson. The second half of last year, I thought he was the best rookie corner in the NFL, had 4 interceptions in his rookie season, played very well down the stretch. So I would say he is one that really stands out. Javon Dexter certainly is one we're hoping breaks out big time. Bears need him to. Him or Pickens, they really need to take a big step because they did not add a veteran 3-tech. So hopefully Dexter can do that. But Tyreek Stevenson, I think, is the safe and most likely bet. Aaron Wolf, what cut candidates at edge? We'll have to see, right? Hopefully some guys around the league. I mean, you don't want guys to get cut, but if they do, hopefully the Bears show some interest, and we'll see. I'd have to dive deeper into some rosters. There could be some post-June 1 cuts. There always are, so we'll have to monitor that market as we get closer. Appreciate it, John. Pickens would be sick. Yeah, be nice if he broke out. Ricky says, Bears drafted 3 Pro Bowlers. Thoughts? I mean, Tory Taylor, if you're counting him, yeah. I think he's got a chance to be one of the best punters in the league. Caleb Williams, I mean, if he's never a Pro Bowler, that's a disappointment. And then, Rome Odunze. So, yeah, I think so. That's what you're hoping for. If you're drafting a punter, he better be a Pro Bowler. All right, 2 segments down, 2 to go. Coming up next, we got a 53-man roster projection. Now that the offseason maneuvering is mostly over, of course, some minor things could happen, so we'll continue to cover that. But let's get to my early 53-man roster projection for the Bears. With the NFL draft in the books and NFL free agency mostly over with, there could be a minor move here or there between now and training camp. Let's get into my early 53-man roster projection for the Chicago Bears. My name is Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears. Now, let's go ahead and jump in here. I'm going to go 2 quarterbacks, and I know more teams have started to do 3, but I'm going to do 2 here, Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent. And the reason is with those new QB rules of you can elevate a guy off the practice squad every week to be your QB3, your emergency quarterback, I don't think you need to carry one on the 53 unless there's just somebody that you're scared is going to get poached. Like, I don't know, if Austin Reed has a Tyson Bagent type of preseason and training camp and you feel like he's worth developing and you're worried another team will sign him if you cut him, sure, you could carry 3, but I'm not going to predict that to happen. So I think you roll with Caleb and Tyson, and Austin Reed and Brett Rippon get cut, and one or both end up on your practice squad. I think they'll likely keep Rippon around because he's a veteran, but he's not really someone you'd be that concerned about getting poached onto an active roster, I don't think. And then, if Austin Reed shows some good things, you can develop him on the practice squad as well. What is your confidence level in Tyson Bagent as QB2, the backup quarterback? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all confident, 10 being very. For on the field, I would say probably an 8. Off the field, I would say 6 or 7, not because he can't help from a mental standpoint and be a communicator to Caleb. I think he's way ahead of his years in that regard. But he is still just a second-year player that was a UDFA last year. That's why I was kind of pounding the table for a guy like Ryan Tannehill, who's been there and done that. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think overall, I'll go 7 out of 10. I feel pretty good about Bagent as a QB2. And as far as a bargain for the Bears with how cheap he is, it's a great deal. All right, 5 running backs, with one being a fullback, of course, in Kari Blasingame. DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, Travis Homer, who's mostly going to play special teams, and then Kari Blasingame, your fullback / special teamer. I thought maybe if the Bears drafted a tight end to be a tight end 3 / fullback, maybe Blasingame would get cut. But as of now, I don't see that happening, especially since the Bears really only have 2 tight ends that are for sure going to make this team. We'll get to that position in a second. But I think it's pretty straightforward here. They could cut Homer. That's certainly a possibility. But for now, I'll keep him here. He also overlapped with Shane Waldron in Seattle, so there's familiarity there. And he was a core special teamer last year. Wide receiver, I'm going to go 6. I kind of went back and forth between 5 and 6, and I also went back and forth of who get the final 2 spots. I think the first 4 are pretty safe here. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Tyler Scott. I'd be pretty surprised if Tyler didn't make the team. We know the first 3 guys are. I just feel like they brought back Dante Pettis for a reason. I think they want him to be the punt returner potentially, and he's a better route runner and pass catcher than Velus Jones, so I've got him making it. And then I thought late last year, Colin Johnson is a blocker in the run game. He's a big body target that the Bears may want to invest more into. I think they could keep him, and this could be the end of the road for Velus Jones. Now, could Velus Jones be on this team? Absolutely. The new kickoff rules help his cause. There's no question. But if the only thing the Bears think he's good at is kickoff return, I don't know if that's enough anymore. You've given this 2 years. He didn't take a step forward as a receiver last year. I don't know, man. I just feel like he's had a lot of chances. So big summer coming up for him. He needs to have a good OTAs, good training camp, do some things in the preseason to lock down a roster spot, because if not, they may go elsewhere. It would not surprise me if that was the case. Tight end, and another reason I kept calling Johnson is he's a big body guy. He's not going to convert to tight end, but he can help you as a blocker, H-back, do some of those type of things. Right now, I think it's Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, and someone that's not on the team yet. I'm not buying Steven Carlson as your tight end 3. I just don't see that being the case here. I'm blanking on the guy they brought in as an undrafted free agent, but I'm not sure he's the answer either. Kmet and Everett's a great 1-2 punch, but I'm going to continue to pound the table for Mercedes Lewis. And remember, Mercedes Lewis did not sign until August. So he's a vet. He's 39. He stays in shape. You can trust him to be ready to go. If he wants to return, then keep in contact with him and see where he's at with things. He doesn't need to do OTAs and all that stuff. He wants to show up to camp. That's perfectly fine. Logan Thomas, an interesting name. Not much of a blocker, more of a receiving threat. I'd rather have a blocking type. Blake Bell, Trevon Wesco, more blockers. So keep those 2 names in mind. Remember, Wesco was here a couple of years ago. He was a decent blocker. I'll mention Robert Tonyan, but he can't block me, much less NFL defensive lineman, and he fell off a cliff as a pass catcher last year. So again, hopefully Mercedes Lewis returns and is willing to play for another year. He said in exit interviews with the media that he wants to run it back. Now, he didn't necessarily say who with. He could certainly sign with another team. He could follow Luke Getsy to Vegas, although they did draft a tight end in the first round. What does that room look like these days? Maybe he goes and reunites with Aaron Rodgers in New York, but he was a leader on this team. I would love to have him back in the locker room. Cole Kmet talked about how valuable he was, and he's still a hell of a blocker, man. I would like to see Mercedes Lewis back. He's a perfect tight end 3 at this point in his career. Do you want Mercedes Lewis back? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I don't see why you wouldn't. I think he's the best option out there for what you're trying to fill on this roster. Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and let me know. 9 offensive linemen here. The starters on your left side of the screen from left to right. Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Ryan Bates. That's a switch I've made recently. There seems to be more Bates buzz as the starting center. I think it'll be a competition with Coleman Shelton, but I've got Bates in there for now. Nate Davis, Darnell Wright, Karan Amagaji, the Yale offensive tackle. Coleman Shelton still certainly going to make this team, I think. Jatiri Carter, I think, makes the team. And then I've got Matt Pryor over Larry Borum for a simple reason of he's cheaper. You save $3.1 million if you cut Borum because he hit certain escalators based on playing time through his first 3 years. And for a guy who's not even going to be your swing tackle, I think saving $3.1 million is the way to go. You've got Matt Pryor on the vet minimum. I think that is most likely here. 8 or 9 guys, sometimes 10 is what you're looking at. If it's 10, maybe Borum sticks around. But again, is he worth $3.1 million where he's not even your top backup anymore? I don't think he is. So these are the 9 I'll go with. Get yourself a Caleb Williams jersey today at chatsports.com/Caleb. You got the navy and whites available. Once the orange get back in stock, we'll let you know. Link is in the comments and in the description, chatsports.com/Caleb. Plenty of sizes available. Pre-order them today. They are on backlog. Lots of them are sold, believe it or not. Chatsports.com/Caleb. You will get them in plenty of time before the season. Defensive line, I'm going to go 9 here as well. So 18 trenches players, offense and defense here. Montez Sweat, Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, DeMarcus Walker, your projected starters right now. Zach Pickens, Austin Booker, who you just drafted. Got Jake Martin making it as a rotation edge. Keith Randolph Jr., he's my 2024 UDFA making this team. I think he could be your 4th defensive tackle. And then I go Khalid Kareem over Dominique Robinson. He stops the run better. He's just a little bit more consistent. And kind of like Velus Jones, you just haven't gotten much out of Dom Rob. So, again, big summer for him, big offseason program, big preseason and training camp. Dom Rob really has to show you some things because if he doesn't, I don't see him making this roster. And by the way, I still think the Bears sign a defensive lineman, whether it's an edge or a defensive tackle. Probably an edge at this point. And if they do sign an edge, I would kick Khalid Kareem off the projected 53. But for now, he's in there. They brought him in last year for a reason, and I think they like him at least a little bit. 5 linebackers. I think this is probably the easiest one to project here. Your 3 starters, T.J. Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Jack Sanborn. Noah Sewell, who you drafted last year, then Amino, who replaces Dylan Cole as kind of your core special teamer, depth linebacker guy. Those are your 5. I mean, I thought about Micah Baskerville as the 6th guy. I know the Bears like him. He's got good coverage skills as a linebacker, as a former safety. I think Baskerville is a name to monitor in the offseason. It wouldn't shock me if he pushed for a roster spot, but I just don't think you need to carry 6 linebackers considering teams play nickel almost exclusively anyway, so I've got him on the outside looking in. If you're a Bears Now subscriber, type me, and if you aren't, change that. Hit the subscribe button, join the channel. It's 100% free. We're plugging out videos every single day, the latest Bears news, rumors, segments like this one, Q&A segments where you guys get your questions in and I answer them, and a whole lot more. YouTube.com/BearsNow. Hit that sub button. Type me if you're a part of the family already. 6 corners here. Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, your 3 starters there, Gordon being the nickel. Terrell Smith, who rotated in as an outside guy last year, really reliable CB4 at this point. Jalen Jones, Josh Blackwell, 2 excellent special teamers, also have played a decent amount in the secondary as well. Blackwell, your backup nickel. Kind of feels pretty straightforward. I also like Greg Stroman Jr. I thought when he played last year, I think it was the Washington game, he stepped in and played really well, had an interception. It wouldn't shock me if he made this team. I don't know if they'd carry 7 corners. He'd probably have to beat out Jones or Blackwell in that sense, but you got some good options back there. You're very, very deep at the cornerback position. 6 corners, which means I'm going to go 5 safeties here. So a little heavy in the defensive backfield. Kevin Byard, who's here to replace Eddie Jackson. Jaquan Brisker. Those are your 2 starters. Jonathan Owens, your new 3rd safety. They needed to upgrade from Elijah Hicks there. I still have Hicks making the team for now. Pretty good special teamer. Quindell Johnson is as well. So I'm going to go 5 safeties overall. They may have to choose between Hicks and Johnson. I could certainly see that. Owens is pretty safe. He signed a 2-year deal. And yeah, 11 defensive backs is a lot, but a couple things. One, the Bears are really deep and solid there. I think they're going to want to carry a lot of these guys and have some special teamers. And 2, again, you're going to play nickel and dime a lot. That's what teams do now. They spread you out. They throw the football. So you got to have different bodies to throw that can cover. So 11 DBs with a lot of those guys playing on special teams. Wrapping up the 53, your 3 specialists. Cairo Santos is the kicker. Tory Taylor is the punter. replacing Trenton Gill. And then Patrick Scales back for another season to be the long snapper. No shocker here, no surprises, as these are the 3 specialists for the 2024 season. And quite frankly, I don't think there's any debate there. All right, grade the Bears roster right now. You can include guys who I, cut there. Just grade the roster, how it sits right now. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know how you guys feel about this group. And then some practice squad candidates based on guys I cut. I think both quarterbacks would be candidates. For sure, Brett Rippon is a vet, but if Austin Reed shows things in the preseason, you could keep him too. Remember, you have 16 practice squad spots now, so got some flexibility. Ian Wheeler, who they signed as UDFA, kickoff return specialist. I'd like to have him on the practice squad. If your starting kick returner were to go down, you could elevate him for a game day. Remember, guys still get 3 games where they can get elevated. Bayless Jones, if he didn't get picked up by another team, kind of think he would. I think some team would give him a chance, but if not, keep him around. Simba Webster, he's been on the practice squad for a while. Stephen Carlson, Brendan Bates, the 2 tight ends could certainly be candidates. Larry Borum, if you don't trade him or if a team doesn't pick him up, he could be someone. Aviante Collins, Doug Kramer, if you want to continue to try to develop him as a center. Dominique Robinson, I would like to keep him on the practice squad if no one picks him up to see if you can further develop him. You haven't really been able to do so up to this point, but he still has some intriguing traits. Michael Dwumfor is a defensive tackle. He's a possible ability to make the 53, but if not, he could be on the practice squad. Definitely Micah Baskerville and Greg Stroman Jr. Reddy Stewart, who I know they like, is a UDFA corner, and then Tarvarius Moore. Remember, they signed him. He didn't play last year, but he's got some NFL experience. He could push for a spot on the 53, but if not, he could certainly be on the practice squad. There you have it, my Bears early 53-man roster projection, plus some practice squad candidates. Grade the Bears roster right now, A, B, C, D, or F, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, get some shout-outs here. Refresh my screen. Charles says C. Disagree. Malcolm says B. Team is A+. Not ready to say that. I'd give this roster, just the raw roster, a solid B+. I think this is a playoff caliber roster. But they got to learn how to win, and you need Caleb Williams to at least be solid. If he's solid and the defense picks up where it left off, you're a playoff team. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Ron says, Odunze said defense. No defense can stop us. What do you think? I mean, look, they got to go out and prove it, but from a raw talent standpoint, if Caleb Williams is that dude, it's going to be hard to stop this offense. I'm trying to temper expectations, but if he's that dude, it's going to be hard. What's up, Julian? A++ from Caleb Williams is him. Kevin says B+. Edwin says A-, 12-win season. Wouldn't shock me. I don't think I'll predict 12, but it would not shock me. I do think this team winning a bunch of games and maybe even winning the division there is a path. I mean, if Caleb Williams is a C.J. Stroud type of season, this team could win the NFC North. Win the NFC North. But A+ from Sean, A- from SB. 10 wins is not unlikely. Yeah, I'd probably have them at 10 right now without seeing the schedule. Based on the opponents, you have the 3rd easiest schedule based on opponent win percentage from last year. So, opportunity is there. Opportunity is there. Williams says, what's the first play of the season? Caleb pass or a run? I'm going to say Caleb pass. A Caleb Williams underneath pass to Keenan Allen will kick off the season. That's my prediction. All right, here we go. Let's get to our final segment. A staple here on Bears Now. Mock Draft 2025 edition. I will say, unless this video goes nuclear, which I hope it does, this will be our last mock draft for a while. So buckle up and enjoy because, the last draft just ended. Early 2025 mock as we get started. Before we get to my way too early 2025 Chicago Bears mock draft, can you help me out and share this video on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it? First, you got to click the share icon, that little arrow. Can't miss it, right below this, where the screen is, or video is on your screen. Then select the X/Twitter icon, probably X now. Most devices say X. And then tag me at HGramNFL and click post. If you tag me, I will retweet you, repost you, whatever we're calling it these days. Click share, select the X icon, tag me, and post. If you do that, you're getting a retweet from yours truly. Yes, we did 25 2024 mock drafts. Why not kick things off with the 2025 mock draft? My name is Harrison Graham. Here is my way too early Bears 3-round mock draft for 2025. The simulators don't even do all 7 rounds. It's way too early. So 3-round mock via the PFF simulator. And of note, the draft order is based on inverse Super Bowl odds. So the Bears have the 18th pick in round 1, which means they have the Bears right on the fringe of being a playoff team, which that's very, very exciting. Let's jump into it here. Round 1, pick number 18, no trades. It's the first mock. JT Tuimoloau, who most thought would come out this year, did not. Decided to go back to Ohio State. He probably would have been an early second-round pick, mid-second-round pick had he come out this year. Remember, huge recruit. A lot of you guys are familiar with him being in Big Ten country. He's been a good college player, but he's been pretty inconsistent, and I think the stats bear that out. He's never taken that huge leap as a college player. He's never had more than 5 sacks in a season. Inconsistent, I think, is the right word. But you've seen stretches of dominance. 2 years ago against Penn State, he had one of the best games from a defensive player I have ever seen at the college level. He had he had 3 sacks and 2 defensive touchdowns or something like that. I mean, it was crazy. He completely dominated, but then he'll just disappear for games. So I think going back to school is a good move for him. He's got the talent. He's got the frame to be a 4-3 defensive end. Can he put it all together in his 4th year of college football? I certainly hope so, and if he does, he's going to be a very, very high draft pick. Kenneth Grant, let's stay in the trenches, as that is clearly going to be the top need, I think, heading into next year. Who knows what could happen between now and then, but the defensive tackle out of Michigan, this is the Carolina pick, by the way. They're projecting Carolina to be the worst team in football, so first pick of the 2nd round. I like this kid, man. He's big, strong, and for being 330 plus, he can rush the passer, right? 3.5 sacks, 5 TFLs, 5 breakups. He gets his hands on passes at the line. He is a scary dude to go up against. And, you look at this defensive line right now, there's questions on the interior. Andrew Billings is on a 2-year deal, but, we'll see if he's here beyond 2024. I'd like to think he will be. Even if he is, Grant would give you depth as a rookie. Dexter, we're hoping, takes a big step. That's TBD. Same with Zach Pickens. I certainly think adding another piece on that interior is going to make a lot of sense, and Grant can stop the run. Like I said, he's a pretty decent pass rusher for his size as well. And the early chatter, and look, things can change, we know that, but the early word from draft experts is that the defensive line group next year is expected to be very strong. Good edges, good interior defensive linemen, and I think that's a big reason why Ryan Poles traded for Montez Sweat last year, because the 2024 draft did not have great pass rushers. But if it bears out that they will next year, well, then the Bears are going to be in a good position to add 1 or 2 of these guys, which is very, very good because they need to beef up that defensive line. All right, a lot of you guys in Big Ten country, the game, pick a side. Would you rather go Ohio State or Michigan, or neither? Could you not stand both? Type OSU for Ohio State, MICH for Michigan, or type N for neither. Arguably the best rivalry in all of sports. Pick a side, OSU for Ohio State, MICH for Michigan, or N for neither. All right, we'll get back to my mock draft for 2025 in just a few moments, but I want to tell you a little bit more about one of our awesome sponsors. That is Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy. I'm a big fantasy football guy, so when that ends, it's kind of a bummer, but the beauty of Prize Picks is fantasy sports never end. It's every single day. Even though you don't have football season going on, you have season-long stat projections you can make entries on. You also have NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. You've got Major League Baseball, UFC, esports, European soccer, golf, tennis. There's stuff every day at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. The way it works is they throw stat projections at you. You pick the ones you like, more or less. And if you hit, you cash out. 2-player entry here for a season-long NFL one. DeAndre Swift, give me the more than 850.5 rushing yards for the new Bears running back. And then, unfortunately, I'm taking the more on Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdowns. He had 10 last year, so I think 8 is more than achievable. 10 to win 30 right there at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Celebrities are playing Prize Picks on the daily. You can go check out their entries once you get going in the app. So check it out. Download the app today. Create an account and use the code CLNS to get that deposit match. That way you have a little extra cheddar to play with when you get started. Code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS is where you want to go. All right, Tate Ratledge. Get a theme here? Trenches. The guard out of Georgia, who is an interesting player because he's 6'6", 310. You almost wonder if he could play tackle. I'll be curious to see how long his arms are when he goes to the combine next year, assuming he does go pro. Right now, he's a right guard. That's where he's played his 2 years in college football. And you do wonder, what is the future of the interior for the Bears? Tevin Jenkins, final year of his rookie contract. Nate Davis, he has one more year, but the Bears can get out of it easily. If he doesn't play well, I could see him getting cut. Ryan Bates has 2 years left at center, but he's been kind of a backup a lot of his career. We'll see how he plays, assuming he starts. Coleman Shelton in there on a one-year deal as well. But Jenkins and Davis in particular as your two guards, their futures are unknown. Now, I'd like Tevin Jenkins to be here long-term. He's got an injury history, though, so that's something you're going to have to account for. I think the Bears probably play this season out and see if he can show a full healthy season. I think drafting a guard is very, very possible on day 2 next year. You're going to need options there. I think one of Jenkins or Davis are probably not on this team in 2025, so you're going to need someone to step in and play in all likelihood. And Ratledge has already been a 2-year starter, so he'll have a 3rd year of starting under his belt. Guy's given up 1 sack in 2 years. I mean, he's been rock solid. If he was able to come out this year, I think he would have probably been a 3rd-round pick. So I'm excited about him. He's a name to keep an eye on. Back to the Big Ten we go, and back to the Maize and Blue we go. Keon Sabb, the safety out of Michigan, round 3, pick number 82. I expect him to take on a larger leadership role this year. Already did some really good things last year, 28 tackles, 5 breakups, couple of interceptions as a part of that very talented Michigan defense. That was a big reason why they won the national championship. And moving forward, kind of like the guard spot, what is the future of safety here? Kevin Byard's on a 2-year deal, so if he plays well, he'll be here in 2025. But if not, they can get out of that deal pretty easily. Jaquan Brisker is entering year 3, so he would be entering the final year of his rookie contract next year. So drafting a guy as insurance in the 3rd round would make some sense. In that regard, I don't think any of those backups are long-term solutions there moving forward. So 3rd round, get a guy like this who has good ball skills. He's a willing tackler. You could play some 3 safety looks like a lot of defenses are doing if both Byard and Brisker are still here. And we don't know if they'll both still be here. I think Brisker will be almost certainly, but Byard's getting older. He's kind of year to year at this point. So I would certainly be cool if you added Keon Sabb. And listen, you get 4 players from the 2 best conferences in college football at positions of need, trenches, 3 of them, and then a defensive back. Certainly like that. JT Tuamoloau in round 1, Kenneth Grant and Tate Ratledge in round 2, followed by Keon Sabb, the safety out of Michigan. So there you have it. Grade my way too early 2025 Bears mock draft. A, B, C, D, or F. Drop a letter grade for me in the comments section right now and let me know how you guys think I did. And look, if you want more future draft content, let me know. If this video goes nuclear, maybe we'll do like a mock draft every month or so. Certainly not going to do them every single week like we do leading up to the draft, but we'll keep tabs. We'll certainly keep you guys in the loop with everything going on. If you want other Bears content on the daily, we're the channel for you. News, rumors. If the Bears sign a player, we'll have you covered. OTAs, rookie minicamp, training camp. We cover it all. Hit that sub button. Turn on notifications. Never miss an episode of Chicago Bears Now. All right, Ryan says A-. Jaron says B. Ron says A. Caleb says A. Malcolm B. Kevin B. David A-. Trump A. Tired of the mocks, bro. I get it. I just gotta I gotta do the one way too early 2025 mock. It's not gonna be every week unless we get 500 comments. Yeah, let's do one. Then yeah, it's I would gander to say I will probably not do a mock again until college football starts. I'll probably do one as the college football season gets underway, but It is what it is. F, talk about Caleb. Talk about Caleb a lot, and that's going to continue. But got to mix in some other content. Juliet says do another next week. Fan-led mock on Monday. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, Horowitz, are you still in there? You're the Super Chat MVP unless someone tops 200. What do you want to do as a Bears segment next week? What do you want me to talk about? Or do you want to let someone else pick? Pick someone in the chat to pick a segment. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let us know, Horowitz. Let us know. It's letting me at him in the chat. Horowitz segment, Justin Fields, kick returner 1. That would be something if they actually did that. I don't think that's actually happening. I'll give Michael a few moments here. If not, I'll DM him on Instagram, see what he wants. Biggest breakout candidate, Christian. We'll do a breakout candidate segment. That's definitely on the docket. Trade targets heading into next season. That's a segment we'll probably hit as well. Bears record this year. Once the schedule comes out, we break down the schedule, and then the very next video we do is typically record prediction. So we'll go game by game and predict the score of every game, the outcome of every game, and what the final record will be and whether or not they make the playoffs. Lacora, I hear you. People are tired of mocks. Can't wait for schedule breakdown. Yep, that's coming, we think, next week. We don't know for sure yet. All right, I'll hit up Horowitz later on. He is our MVP, so we'll stay tuned for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to get out of here. Bear down, FGB, all that good stuff. Peace.